Hello, my art friends. I know it's been a while since I made a video. I don't know. I got busy with my art classes and because COVID was a little better and could have people over distanced a little bit and stuff like that. And, it's back to lockdown a lot again and all that type of thing. And it's Christmas Eve today and not having any family over this year. And I thought I would do some art. So this is a song that my great aunt wrote, and my dad sang it ever since I can remember. And he's no longer with us, but we're fortunate we have this music of his beautiful voice to hear. And it's called Christmas Moon, and it's just a sweet little song. And since we're having we had a Christmas star this year, and we're having a Christmas moon this year, decided I would make this art piece, and this was perfect to use. I've been wanting to do it for a very long time, so I was very happy to have the time and everything to do it. Now, I don't remember really where I got this beautiful moon piece from, but it was just right for this, and so I decided I would use it. And I just really, really like the way it looks. I'm going to add a lot of stuff to it, but it's just really beautiful. And I just ran a copy through my photocopier, and here we are. I don't know if you remember, but I like to use a credit card for my decoupaging, particularly, sometimes painting too. But it gives you a very nice thin layer of decoupage, so it dries relatively quickly. And sometimes decoupage, always say it does need 24 hours really to fully cure. And I'm using a piece of cement board, my favorite substrate to use. I'll turn this over so you can see. It's just a piece, like we use on the outside of our house. So I have this really goopy, crazy paint. I have several colors in this brand, and it's very, very intense, as you will see. I have to water it way down. And it's a really nice color, but the paint turned into like a gel almost. It's just really, really pretty yucky. I don't really like that. So I'm going to water this way down and just kind of spread it around, not over some of these things, because some of these I want to highlight kind of, and I want to write my dad's name in here too. So, and it's almost the same color as this blue that was at the top of this moon that I got. So I'm just going to kind of use that as a little piece of it, like it was all like that. And then I decided I would take my little scraper and I would kind of scrape some of this because it looks kind of cool that way too. I have this paint, it's golden, which is a wonderful paint. They're kind of expensive though, but they last a very long time. So this is called Quinacridone Nickel Azel Gold. It's a really cool color, as you'll see. It can be orange if you want to leave it really intense, or it can be more of a golden color. So I'm going to use, this is going to be funny, but I want to make a lot of water with this and spread it around. So I'm gonna use kind of two paintbrushes to get this, so we get enough water, because you can, do you see how intense that is? But it's just, well, I like to just spread it around and make puddles of it, because it just, my fingers sometimes, because you get a different look. So I'm just spreading it around a little bit. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of raw umber. And I'm gonna water it way down too, but it just gives it, oh, you know, it kind of the grungy, you can see I have blue and I have that beautiful Nacridone Nickel Azo Gold color, and then the brown, and it kind of mixes. I don't know, I like the way it gives a different color. Now I gotta remember, I want a spot here for my dad's name. I'm gonna write that in, that because that's not on here. I don't want too much. I'll leave a little spot. All right, well, I think that's enough. You can see you don't hardly need any, so it's pretty great. I want to show you this product. It's really cool. It's called Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. I just got this one. It's a little bit thick, so I'm not sure if it gets thick sitting in the jar or if that's the way it comes. This is the first time I've ever bought it. It is really nice. It doesn't bleed through, and you know how a lot of white things, they look white at first and then whatever color's underneath them, it'll pull it up into it and it sort of turns, for instance, where this is dark blue, it might turn a lighter blue, but this stuff is really great. So what I want to do with this is I just want to kind of do some scraping. And I'm just gonna sort of go back and forth with it, and it's just a little bit more texture. And it's really cool when you have a lot of different height papers down. You get this little skippy thing from the texture. So that's really fun. Or even across the, see how it did that right there? Because this board is, like I said, cement board, and it's actually textured like wood would be. So it's got like little ripples, and you can kind of even see that, how it dries. I don't know if that's very easy to see on the camera, I guess, but anyway, it's pretty cool. So you get these nice little skippy white lines, which are, or you know, whatever color paint you're using, I guess. I shouldn't just say white. So it's pretty cool to play with. It's kind of expensive. It was $11 for that, but you just barely use any, and it's pretty worth it, I think. I don't want to cover the Christmas moon words because I want to highlight those. You don't need very much of this either. I mean, you don't need like your whole page white. So it's really good for the snow too, which you'll see later on. And I also use it on the trees a little bit. And if you don't, you know, if something doesn't look right, just kind of dab it off a little bit if it's not what your eye wants, what you want to see. So I'm not going to do too much yet. I can always come back, and I really wanted to get the trees in. And I also, oops, stuck to the table, my beautiful tablecloth. I also wanted to kind of draw a little square around like I usually do. And this says my aunt's name. All right, here we go. Here's another product that I have. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah. This is really, really, really old. And some of what I have has gotten a little dried up. I can't get it out of the tube. So I'm going to cut the tubes open and put it in little teeny weeny canning jars and see if that'll preserve it, because it's so cool. It's great texture material, but it's also colored. So that's just like, I don't know, well, pretty fun anyway. So this looks pretty dry to me. So I'm gonna put one Christmas tree, and this is a stencil by Shawn Petite. You can go to her website and look for them, and she's amazing to watch her videos. She's a very giving person, and she gives us lots of free things, and she has beautiful artwork, and you can buy all kinds of things. So she's worth watching for sure. So I just squeeze a little bit of that on there, and then I'm just pulling it through the stencil. And I just try to start with a very little bit because I don't want the stencil to get too crusty. You can soak these and just wash it out. And then I'm going to go back with brown over the trunks, but just to remind me where the trunk is, I'm just going to draw it in with my black Sharpie. It works out pretty well. Okay, so we're going to have one tall tree, or maybe two. We're going to have 3 trees over here and 1 up there. And so I'm just going to do the same thing here, kind of color in that little trunk. I see I don't have any textured paste in one little spot here. There we go. All right, let's see. Hopefully that's good enough. I'm going to add some white on top of that too, like snow. Oh, it's a little hard to see because this is sort of a dark background. One reason I did that is I wanted the moon to really stand out, and I like that look too. Turn this over. It's pretty much, you know, the same tree, and I'm just gonna I'll just move it a little bit. It should work out pretty well. If you've never tried one of these little, I call them a knife, a palette knife. There might be a more artsy technical term for it, I'm not sure. But if you haven't tried one of these, they're very fun, and they work well for lots of things. All right, we'll kind of just get a quick swipe of that. Oh, that came out great. Oh, I forgot the trunk. Well, I think I'll just draw a little trunky in here so I don't totally forget to come back and put one in. Oh, it must be wet there. You know, if you get your Sharpies on wet things, it ruins them. So be really careful. I'll just have to come back when that's dry. And let's see, since this is turned over, I can also get this tree without smushing, I think. Without smushing out. I'm going to put that down a little bit too. Maybe this time I can remember. Guess I could have put that straight onto the picture. Would have been just fine. Well, it's all right anyway. So I'm just going to add, I don't know, a little bit more of that in a few places. I kind of want to have a little rim that goes around the outside of that photocopy of that moon. And I want to put this really watered down on here, and then I'm going to let it drip a little bit. I don't know, I can't really show you that, I'm sorry. I don't know how. Let's see, what could I do? Well, let's just add some in some areas, because it's just too beautiful to not use up. So we'll just add a little bit in a couple areas here. And we'll just use it all up. Maybe I'll put a couple more drips in here. I'm going to add a couple more of these little things using my black Sharpie just for a different look. Just adds another little highlight, I guess, is what I would say. You can make these all different sizes, which is kind of fun too. You don't have to have them all the same or anything. So I cut this little Christmas star out of a little piece of paper. It's not perfect or anything, but just wanted to add a little something there. So I'm going to try using a little double stick tape so it'll stick up a little bit down in here. Sometimes it's hard when you're putting a word on to know how it's going to look underneath. If it's too dark against dark or too light against light, and then you just have to adjust it a little bit. So it works out pretty well. Don't be afraid to do that. I mean, I always like to do this little skippy line thing, so I'm going to kind of do that a little bit. I don't want it to be a really thick, solid, like in your face type of a line. I just want a little bit of a scratchy line just to give it, yet again, a little more dimension. So you won't look at it and say, oh, gee, she used a black Sharpie around there like a, you know, it doesn't look like that so much. It's just adds a little, and I don't know, I like this scratchy look because it doesn't look purposeful. So that's that. See if I can get this white one to work. Kind of the same thing with the white. Just a little squiggly line. It barely shows, really. This white pen's not working real well. Just barely shows, but it adds a little something. All right, let's see. That feels dry enough. Let's see if I can do this. Solid, do a few dots, do a little scratchy lines. And then when you're not looking on it so intently, it adds a lot of highlight and things like that. Well, I think that's it. Oh, I know, I was gonna try, I don't know how this will look, to be honest with you. I thought I'd use the end of my paintbrush and just put a little gold glitter glue dot on the top of the trees. Let's see, I don't know if that'll work with this glitter glue. Let's see. It'll kind of give a little, like a gold star effect, even though it's not really a star shape. Well, I kind of like that. I don't know that it'll really show. It'll be interesting once it dries. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Well, I think that's it. So I'm going to turn it around for you. Like I said, I hope that doesn't give you a headache. I've heard sometimes it does when you do that. Now let's see if you could see the whole thing on here. There you go. I think you can pretty much see it now. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this.